That OST, when Fujimoto popped up, that is a song I have at the very least have listened to once every 4 or so months. Now that might not sound like a lot, but you gotta factor in, now Blue Exorcist Season 1 hasn't aired for a very long time. And ever since it was airing, yes, I was watching Blue Exorcist Season 1 when it was airing, I remember after that song was introduced, listening to that song on repeat. And ever since then, since I heard that song, I've at the very least have listened to that song once every 4 or so months since that year. And when I hear this song attached to a scene with Fujimoto and its new content, and on top of that we get some characterization for Fujimoto, and also Rin's sword that has his power inside of it, that is what made me hype. Like, that final scene, I was just jumping for joy. I was like, oh my god! I was like, yo! Like, cause I love that song. And if there's one thing that really gets me into a certain scene, it's definitely the music. The music just draws me in to where I'm like, oh my god, I need to see more! Because it's just so badass. And when you hear that soundtrack in the background, and you see all this information revealed, and you have Rin freaking out and all that, it just makes for a very good finale of the episode. And so I gotta be honest here, that this is probably my favorite episode thus far of Blue Exorcist Season 2, just because of that finale alone. That was really badass. I just love hearing that song with new content. It's just my personal preference. It's because mainly this song just really draws me in. So anyways, getting off of that, let's talk about what this episode means overall. For one, we get to see how both eyes have been stolen from, the Impure King. Like, both eyes have finally come together, they've been stolen, and there's a more sinister goal in sight that Toto is trying to apparently do, which we don't know all of the details yet, but apparently he does have something else planned, according to Rin's brother. He's like, there must be something else going on here. Now, besides overall when it comes to that stuff, we also have the information about the actual secrets within secrets. For instance, what is really going on in this temple? What's going on with Suguro, Bond's father? Why does it seem like he's not telling the whole truth? Why does it seem like he knows more than he's letting on, but he doesn't say anything regardless? Even with last week's episode, when Bond confronted him and Suguro didn't say anything, it was just something like, why wouldn't you say something when you're in that position? And so from what we found out with a little brief flashback with Suguro, and seeing how he eventually took, the title as the head of the family, we know now that there is definitely something very, very important that must be kept secret from everyone in the family, in the organization, because if anyone knows, it's probably going to have dire consequences. And when you see how Suguro, he tries to hold desperately onto this information in last week's episode, it really makes it just hit you even more. You're like, holy shit, this man, after being accused that he's a traitor, after everybody thinking he's doing some shady shit, after how his own son has kind of forsaken him and doesn't really like him anymore, and they have their own, issues with each other, it really shows you how much this must hurt Suguro to be able to hold something like this within himself, but also not being able to say it to someone he truly cares about, and see how his son is really angry with him. I mean, you gotta go figure, if you're in that position as the head of the family, and you have to hold this secret that's very important, and it's important, it's gonna hurt you deep inside when you have to keep this secret from your loved ones, especially when they know you're hiding something, but you point blank state, you just can't say it, and that is a very sad moment, and it really makes me feel sorry for Suguro, and the burden that he's been dealt with. He has to hold this burden by himself, and nobody else really knows about it until he finally passes on the title to his son, Bond. Hopefully Suguro doesn't die in this arc, because, so far I really like his character. I like, his position as a father. I would like to see, Suguro and his son Bond make up and, have a nice, good father-son relationship, and also see, how it doesn't end in tragedy, kind of what happened to, Rin and his, foster father, Fujimoto. I would like to see a better outcome besides that, because it would be very tragic to see Bond go through something very similar that Rin went through in the earlier stages of Season 1. And as we know in last week's episode, Rin is still bothered by this. He has PTSD, so it means that it's not completely gone. That means this man is still bugged by that. So hopefully in this, sequence, we don't see Bond experience the exact same fate that Rin is currently going through. So with that being said, though, I gotta say that the episode, in terms of the reveals at the end, especially when it comes to the Coma Sword, I think that's the exact name. I could be wrong with that. I might be mispronouncing it. If I am, please forgive me. But the sword, though, that has Rin's flames, stilled within it, That was a huge surprise, seeing that this sword is directly connected to Bon's family, and that's their object of worship. And Fujimoto just coming in out of nowhere and stealing it and taking it, that is like, whoa! Whoa, like, whoa, Fujimoto, like, damn, like, that, you know, just entrance he did in this episode was badass, but the way he just took it like that, and we know the connection that this sword has with Rin, it makes you think, like, holy shit, Bon and Rin are really closely connected now because of what Fujimoto did in the past, and I wonder how this is going to complicate Bon and Rin's relationship in the future episodes. Once Bon eventually finds out about this, you know, this history that Fujimoto had with Suguro, Bon's father, I wonder how that's, you know, going to complicate things, because that is definitely very important for Fujimoto just to grab the sword from Suguro's entire family and just pretty much go off and run off with it. That's kind of fucked. We need a little bit more details with that entire scene, because not everything was explained, but that was definitely a whole big, like, a big plot twist. You're like, damn, like, holy crap. So, yeah. I'd say Blue Exorcist Season 2, I think this is episode 5? I think this is episode 5. I could be wrong. It might be episode 4. But regardless of whatever episode it is, though, this episode, pretty freaking epic to watch. The music won me over. The pacing is fucking phenomenal. I gotta emphasize this real quick. When it comes to Blue Exorcist Season 2, I gotta say, out of everything I am seeing from this anime season, this probably has the best pacing. Clearly the best pacing. I love what they're doing with the show, how it doesn't feel too slow, it doesn't feel rushed, it feels just right. There's just so much going on, but at the same time, you know, it's not going too fast. It makes it even more of an enjoyable watch, especially when you get to these, you know, crazy scenes at the end of the episode, and it really makes it to where when you sit down and watch the series, it only feels like it's been 2 or 3 minutes since you started the episode, but it's already over. You're already seeing the ending song play. So, yeah, good job, Blue Exorcist Season 2. I've been enjoying you so far. Can't wait to see the next episode, and please let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below, and I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.